Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and with a new league coming in a couple of weeks and presumably 3 months after that and so on, it's always nice to have a plan for your league starter. A league starter is very important as it can fund your later characters and set up your map base for the league. With the upcoming changes to the Atlas, this may end up being even more important and could very well shape your experience during Conquerors of the Atlas. In today's video, I'm going to go over some methods to pick a league starter that'll be cheap to get going and upgrade, while also being strong enough to handle all of the game's content once you have it upgraded, while saving currency for a more expensive build or to upgrade your starter build. The first tip I have is to choose a proven build that's not likely to be meta. It's always tempting to choose a new skill that's going to be very popular, but the prices of gear on these builds are going to be very high, probably through the roof. There are plenty of powerful builds that have seen either no nerfs or very minor nerfs that probably won't be nearly as competitive in terms of finding gear for them. Some recent examples include Bane, Impale Cyclone, and Holy Flame Totem. This may also include minion builds, depending on any changes they end up receiving. People tend to kind of stop playing a build entirely if it's been nerfed, but generally the loss of power is pretty insignificant, and I would try to avoid this bias and give those nerfed builds another shot. At least test them out in Path of Building to see if the drop-off is too significant. The second and possibly most obvious tip is to plan your build so that it functions without a lot of expensive uniques. Expensive uniques can still be planned for in the future if you intend on continuing to play your league starter for a long time, but at least make sure that you can function without them. There are plenty of cheaper unique options that you can build around that'll be cheap and plentiful during the beginning of the league, so it may be better to consider one or more of those instead. It may also be worth to consider very cheap uniques that have the potential to give you extra links early on before you get your 6th link, as 6 links tend to be very expensive early on in a new league. For example, I've used Bitter Dream and Nycta's Lantern to great effect early on in leagues to be able to get to red maps early on without having to purchase a 6th link, or use a Tabula Rasa, and that way I can instead use a body armor that has stats. My third tip is to outlast the initial price inflation. Gear is much more expensive in the first couple of days of the league, and so you want to treat your build like solo self-found as much as possible in the first few days. Once the prices start to regulate a little, you'll be able to pick up any gear that'll be really beneficial to your final build while also saving up to make bigger purchases. I would recommend using the PoE trade website in PoE.ninja to keep track of prices in order to track when it's the right time to buy your upgrades. My fourth tip is to choose a build that can easily farm bosses. Drops from Itziri, the Syndicate Mastermind, and other bosses with fixed drop tables tend to be worth a ton of currency in the beginning of a league, and then drop off significantly. Making a fast clearing build is great, and it'll help you level and make more currency in the long run, but such builds tend to be much more expensive to get going. By focusing on boss killing early on, you can take advantage of the high price of uniques yourself and build up a fairly nice pile of currency until the prices drop. Hopefully by then you'll have funded your next character or will be able to make very significant upgrades to your starter build. Lastly, I want to talk about prepping for more powerful and expensive builds. Let's say you want to play an explosive arrow build, but you fear that it might be a little bit more expensive because it's gonna probably end up being meta. You can league start a Bane Trickster, but level up explosive arrow in your weapon swap. Then you'll be able to have high level gems, and you can quality them and attempt to corrupt them to level 21 when you're ready to switch over to your more expensive explosive arrow character, which can save you several exalts and start you off much stronger. I hope you enjoyed this short video. I've been away for a bit for Thanksgiving with my family and Jessica's family, so I apologize for the gap between videos. If you enjoy my content and want to help support the channel, check out my Patreon or become a channel member, and don't forget to subscribe. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!